I just want to say something really briefly here, but I need to get this off my chest. I don't blame the masses of ignorant people who only knew the talking points given to them by a completely bought and paid for, weaponized mainstream media. I don't blame them. They were hit with constant gaslighting, and they were completely conditioned by repeated false statements made day in and day out for the last year and a half by the likes of CNN, MSNBC, the Washington Post, the New York Times, the LA Times, Google, Yahoo, and on and on and on. I don't blame the people who didn't know any better. Our media is such that Twitter is caught censoring right-wing opinion, hiding hashtags that were the most viral, and you likely didn't even hear about it. Star CNN reporter Van Jones caught on camera saying Russia is a nothing burger, and you didn't hear about it. YouTube banning conservative points of view, and you didn't hear about it. The CEO of Reddit editing user comments if they were conservative, changing what people said, and you didn't hear about it. You didn't hear about Imran Awan, perhaps the most explosive story to happen since JFK. You didn't hear about the spy ring in Congress. You didn't hear about the thousands of human trafficking busts since Trump took office. You heard about how it's Obama's economy. Even though Obama said 1% is the new normal growth and the jobs, well, they aren't coming back. You heard how a 1,000-point decline in a day was definitely Trump's economy, though. You hear a lot, and with consequence. Your emotions have been manipulated in a sick and twisted method that the CIA would be proud of. You've been lied to, gaslit, psychologically manipulated through a year of Rachel Maddow screaming about the Red Scare. There's a lot you didn't hear about, and the time is coming soon where you will have to hear about it. There won't be a choice, because the truth is coming out even now, and it won't be able to be silenced. Soon you'll hear about how Trump is jailing his political opponents. You'll hear that we need to take action against this madman. We need to revolt. The time has come to take a stand. That's what you'll hear soon enough. Courtesy of the deep state puppet masters, desperate to prevent what's coming. And it is coming. People like me that did independent research and never bought into the narrative that the media tries so desperately, so transparently, desperately to push. We knew. We knew all along. And we dealt with the ignorance of the masses. Ridiculed, shunned, falsely branded as conspiracy theorists. We pushed on. The time is coming, and soon, where that will end. When it turns out that the FBI paid for the dossier knowing it was fake and used it for a FISA warrant, when it turns out that they spied on a sitting president in hopes of finding something, anything, to get to him, when it turns out that Hillary bought the DNC and controlled the entirety of it and all its money for her own purposes, when it turns out that Seth Rich was killed for being the leaker of the DNC emails, when it turns out Hillary engaged in pay-to-play with the most heinous of America's enemies, when it turns out that the FBI and the Department of Justice were weaponized to prevent Trump from assuming office, when it turns out that the Russian collusion was 100% fabricated and they knew it, when it turns out that Comey, Lynch, Clinton, McCabe, and yes, even Obama all acted together in treasonous sedition against a duly elected president, when it turns out the Democrats tried to usurp a democratically elected president and undermine America's voting process, when all these things happen, and they will happen, remember, people knew. People you work with, friends, family, acquaintances, they knew, and they did not waver. There's a storm coming, and it will forever change the face of our country. That's all I have to say.